guys, today I want to talk to you about ethanol. Now this is the gas cap on top of the Hustler. You can see they specifically say max of 10% ethanol in the fuel. First of all, I'm going to tell you, if you want your carburetor especially to live a long and trouble-free life, you need to use ethanol-free fuel if you can at all find it. The reason, if you don't know, the reason what ethanol is it's alcohol made from corn. They put this in gasoline. Normally it's 10%, it could be a 15% mixture. They do this in order to reduce emissions. The problem is alcohol absorbs water. That's why when you see people that have boats, they have boats that are stored and then for the winter, and then they bring them back out in the summer and they have terrible problems. Same thing with lawn equipment. It's not so bad in cars because the tanks are supposed to be mildly sealed. There's not supposed to be that much moisture in there, but any moisture in the air will get into the fuel and it can cause horrible problems. In fact, I had one of my dirt bikes, somehow ethanol fuel got in there, and it makes this really nasty gooey paste that'll get in the bottom of the tank. It'll get in the carburetor and it messes. You got to clean that whole everything out, and a lot of times you have to replace stuff. So if you can at all help it, do not put ethanol in any of your lawn equipment, period, end of story. Now, how do you know that when you go to the pump and it says ethanol free that you're not getting ethanol in your gas? You can't tell, you can't smell it. So I'm going to show you this really cool kit. I'm going to put a link on Amazon. This is it's an ethanol super tester, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill water up to this blue line right here. It says water fill line, and then whatever gas I'm going to be testing, which is supposed to be ethanol free, I'll fill up to this red line right here. I'll shake it really good for a little while and we'll let it sit. And what will happen is, if there's ethanol in there, if there's alcohol in there, it will pull the moisture that has gotten into the fuel, and this level, which should be right here, it will start going up, and it will tell you right there what percentage of ethanol is in the fuel that you're testing. So let's just get straight to this. Just use regular tap water. Take this seal out. I haven't used this kit. You can use this kit over and over and over. Just wash it out. And I'm going to just take some water. Fill it to the line. Okay. Do it right there. And I've got my jug of fuel here. I'm going to put a little bit in this smaller container. Just put it in that. And then I'm going to fill this up to the red line at the top, which says gasoline fill line. Now, one thing that you have to be mindful of is that the pump that I go to only has ethanol-free fuel coming out of the hose. Okay, it's a standalone pump. A lot of these gas stations have pumps. If you notice, you can get 87, 89, 93, and then a lot of times there'll be an ethanol-free pump, or there'll be a pump that has E85, which is even worse. That's 85% ethanol, which you definitely don't want. Okay. So now I'm just going to put this top on. I'm going to shake it really good. All this is doing is getting the gas to mix with the water. And when we let this sit, it will start to unseparate. We're going to let the bubbles go down. I would say let this sit here a good, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. So I'm gonna let the stuff just sit here, and then we'll come back as soon as all the bubbles have dissipated. All right, so you can kind of see, hopefully, let me get up against a dark surface here. Maybe it'll be easier to see. If that water line had moved above the original fill line, so this has no ethanol at all in it, and it's not supposed to. So here's one problem. Let's say that you take your 1 gallon gas can you're going to use for your 2-stroke mix, and if you have a pump that serves multiple grades of gasoline, say, just like I said before, 80, 87, 89, 93, and then one of them is ethanol free, whatever the person pumped last, okay, in their car, let's say you go and you swipe your card or pay and you go to fill up your 1 gallon gas can with ethanol free fuel, there's going to be about 1/3 to 1/2 gallon. Let's say that the guy before he pumped 87 octane in his truck. You're going to get 1/3 to 1/2 gallon of 87 octane coming out of the hose before it starts to flow the ethanol, because whatever was pumped last is there's liquid in the hose. So you're going to get ethanol in there just from that. So what I would recommend that you do is that if you have a pump that has multiple selections out of a single hose and you're trying to get ethanol free, then just put like a couple gallons of it in your vehicle, and then pump your gallon or 5 gallons or whatever that you're trying to get out of the ethanol free. That way any of the ethanol that was still in the hose will be flushed out by the ethanol free and go into your vehicle instead of going into your gas can, because you could get 1/3 or 1/2 of that laden with ethanol, and you don't want that. So fortunately, the fuel station that I go to is a Shell, and it has a complete separate dedicated pump that only has that one selection, which is ethanol free. But most of the other, like at Racetrack and Quick Trip, they have some of them have 4 or 5 selections that you could get. So, and one of them is E85, and you definitely don't want that, because that is 85% ethanol and 15% gas. It's for cars or trucks that run on flex fuel. So definitely don't want that. But anyway, hopefully this will help you. The kit is really cheap. I think it was just like 11 bucks, and you can use it over and over and over. Test your fuel. In fact, I would even say whatever you put in your vehicle, if the pump says it's only maximum of 10%, put some in a can and test it. Do the exact same thing, because if it's, you definitely don't want to use more than 10%, because I've seen some places they said it could have as much as 15%. No bueno. If at all possible, ethanol free and everything. So that'll just prevent you from having to have problems, especially in lawn equipment, motorcycles, boats, anything that doesn't run all the time. Like I said, it's not that much of a problem in passenger car or trucks, because the tank it's not pressurized, but it's under a slight vacuum for emissions, and there's not a lot of moisture that gets in there, but you can still have problems, especially if it sits for a while or if it's an older car or truck. But anyway, so I will put a link in the description for that kit, and I hope you guys will test your fuel, and because I don't want to see anybody's equipment breaking down or not being able to start after it sat over the winter when you're starting up, because springtime's busy. All right guys, I will talk to you guys on the next video.